My name is Rachel, and right now I'm in Fort Steilacoom Park, a local hotspot for outdoor recreational activities, dog walking, and home to many wild animals. And right here is Wagop Lake, an extremely eutrophic lake. It is covered in algae blooms and used to be labeled as a dead zone, which means that the oxygen levels are so low that it cannot support life anymore. But wait, what is eutrophication? And how did it get to be a dead zone?
Eutrophication is when there's an excess amount of nutrients in a body of water, such as phosphorus and nitrogen, that over time deplete the oxygen levels in water and cause algae blooms. These nutrients come from two different places: non-point sources and point sources. Point sources, think like agricultural farms and factories, release wastewater and water runoff with fertilizer chemical in them. Non-point sources, think like homes and small gardens, also release wastewater and water runoff, but also leach off of septic tanks and landfills that surround them. So, phosphorus and nitrogen enter a body of water, but how does this lead to eutrophication? Eutrophication starts with nitrogen and phosphorus entering a body of water. Now, phosphorus actually allows algae blooms to grow faster, but as algae blooms grow, they block out the sunlight and the plants within the water start to die. Now, zooplankton actually really like to eat algae, but as zooplankton eat more, they reproduce more. As they reproduce more fish start to eat more zooplankton, which means there's nothing left to eat the algae. Now, algae is eventually decomposed by aerobic bacteria, or bacteria that thrives in oxygenated water. But as this bacteria eats the algae, it uses up more of the oxygen within the water, which means that over time, oxygen levels start to deplete, and all of the life within the water starts to die. Now, by the end of the process, dead material has floated to the top, and it forms a sediment layer. And then, at the very end, the sediment falls, leaves a perfectly clear lake, and the oxygen levels fall to zero, which means that this lake is now labeled as a dead zone because it can no longer support life.
You might be thinking, okay, eutrophication is bad for the water, but how does this impact me? Well, it not only makes the water hypoxic, but that lessens biodiversity and food chains within the water. It kills plants in and surrounding the lake, as well as fish and invertebrates. It irritates skin, it taints drinking water, and it can harm domestic animals like dogs if the water is in a public area.
It is important to be aware of human impacts on our environment. Eutrophication stems from runoff and human activities that we don't think about. It may seem like something that only professionals can handle, but it couldn't be more different. Some alterations you can make in your lifestyle are using eco-detergents without phosphates, educating people about eutrophication and its impacts, or even planting buffer zones between fields and watercourses to absorb their nutrients. Eutrophication can be serious, but it's only scary if we do nothing about it. Thank you for watching.